Hello, everybody. Johnell Davis just committed to Arkansas for the tune of 1.2 million, allegedly. Allegedly, Kim English has beef with all the tampering head coaches and assistant coaches and flunkies, of course. Kendrick Lamar and Drake have beef. What a time to be alive, and what a time to talk college basketball with your favorite broskies in basketball. Recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that green screens media train. Welcome to One and Done, your fast break of college basketball information. And we are powered by the world's greatest, dare I say, universe's greatest website. That would be drroto.com. My name is Jay Heinrich, your sometimes humble host. I happen to be the conductor of the aforementioned Green Screens Media Train. Find me on X at Dr. William Cannon. Follow me, and I will smash that follow back button. But you know who you should really follow? Is the guy in the 2-box with me tonight, the man known as El Capitan himself, the captain of the Green Screens Media ship. He does the ship, I do the train. That's how it works. That's how it works around here. Find that man on X at MC Holland34, the OG Money Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, what it do, baby?
What it do, man? Glad to see you back here on these streets. Just updating the old big board, and of course every hour there's someone committing, and then of course we're about to go live on air. And you know what, our number one player is just like, you know what, these guys are never on time anyways, we might as well just make this thing happen, and they'll start when they start as per usual. But now I'm doing good, man. We got the deadline coming up here tomorrow at midnight, so we'll probably have names trickling after that. We'll probably come back on here in a couple of days to talk about all that stuff that's going to happen, but plenty to talk about tonight.
What do you got over there at drroto.com, Mike? It's the top 300 transfer portal board, right?
It's still 300.
What is it going to be? Okay, still 300 right now.
Me and Napsy Hustle are cooking up a 500 piece by probably mid-May is when it will be finalized.
Ooh, loving that little tease there for those of you into the old transfer portal stuff. And we know if you're hanging out with us tonight, that's you, sicko. Welcome to our world, especially if this is your first time joining us on One and Done. Make sure you hop in that live chat, shout us out, let us know what you think, give us your takes. Maybe we could have beef like Kendrick and Drake. We could go back and forth in the comments or something like that.
Man,
who knows?
Oh, man.
Ooh, not again. No, we could do that. But you know what we really could do also is make sure. Oh, there it is right there. Our guy, Eric, the Blue, not too far away, dropping the old fire emojis in the chat there. And then Napsy Hustle right there. You say his name too many times, and he jumps in. Oh, and look who it is. His ears must have been burning, Mike. Our guy, Forklift Jeremy, hop it in the live chat.
Here we go. Arkansas fans are in the streets too.
Yep. Cal is killing it. Woo pig suey indeed, hog dog. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate the live chat on fire already. You know what, though? If you haven't already, make sure you get over to the YouTube channel. Green Screens Media YouTube page. We are on the way. We have been on a rocket ship to 1,000 subs. Can we do it tonight? Can we do it when this is our top show? Make sure you do your part in the Green Screens Media universe. Hit those like, but most importantly, subscribe button as well. Tell the hoopheads in your life about us as we jump right into the headlines here with, we're not going to bury the lead. We're going to go right to it. The guy that made us even later than we normally would be because of his last minute commitment to Arkansas. Woo pig suey. I don't know. I don't think that's how you spell that kind of suey. I don't know. We're gonna have to check that out with the graphics department or not. But either way, woo pig. We'll get it right. But I got Johnell Davis.
Pig suey.
Whoa pig suey. Johnell Davis is going to Arkansas. Mike, initial reaction just off the top. This just happened. What are you thinking?
I'm surprised I get it just with the NIL world and how much the, reported money. I've seen even 1.4 million. Like that's ridiculous. So I understand it. I think the thing that makes it interesting is I love his NBA upside, but how can you pass up on that type of money? Like he's probably going to be a second round pick, maybe probably a late second rounder. And even at that, like you're probably going on these two-way contracts. And it's like, why don't you just buckle up and, take the lead role for Arkansas and Coach Cal and make over $1 million playing college basketball, which you've pretty much dominated over the past years, right? You made a Final Four. You had a really good season last year. You're the number one player on our big board. A lot of great players in the transfer portal. The thing that really stands out is just his NBA prowess, right? His scoring ability, his ability to pass. I think it's underrated. He's a strong defensive player. We've seen the ceiling on this guy 2 years ago. Last year kind of gets lost in the shuffle because, the bounce back season we saw with North Carolina the year before, it's always tough, right, especially in college basketball, which makes UConn's deal so impressive to just continue that dominance. It's really hard. Things have to break your way most of the time. So, I still think he was one of the top, 15 players in the country last year. Kind of got lost in with, he's not on national TV all the time, but just an awesome player. And look, man, like if you're trying to make the league, who better to, go under for a year and make $1 million than Coach Cal? He's got a ton of guys in the league, Jay. So any thoughts about, maybe Coach Cal here, what he can do with him? And just, God, man, this is a whole different landscape we're living in these days.
Just go serve your apprenticeship, get that cash, learn from the best, and woo pig suey indeed. I was told by the producer in my ear earlier, Mike, also while you were talking about Johnell Davis, I'm the dummy here. Whoa. It's a play on words. It's whoa, pig, because he's getting so dang fast. Made that choice to go out there to Arkansas. I missed it, and I want to apologize publicly to the graphics department right now. I mean, it already comes out of my paycheck anyway. And I understand that, the graphics department. Hog dog.
Hog dog. Yes, we're all over the place.
Loving that. I'm loving it. Either way, Johnell Davis going to Arkansas. How many players does he have on the roster now, Mike?
I think that's 6. If I'm not
I was going to say 5. I think I missed one. Okay, so that's 6. That's 6
you
now.
We got a guy that we're going to talk about a little bit later tonight as a portal commit before we got this one. Shout out to graphics department for getting all this out there.
Yeah,
and you guys got the freshman coming in. We'll kind of talk about what the impact of the guy that we're going to talk about later, and then Visich is obviously the first commitment there. So
yeah, no doubt about it. And sometimes the ones that you keep, what do they say in these days? Sometimes the ones that you never lose, or the best recruits are your own, or something. How does it go these days?
Basically hyping up that retention. You see crazy stats like the teams that retain, a lot of their roster, but some of the biggest years, some of the highest ceilings.
Grant Nelson, my guy, according to our friend Forklift Jeremy, Grant Nelson is returning to Alabama. So, I think Grant Nelson's family would tell you, his mama would tell you that was sort of an up and down season for him last year, but obviously showed those flashes that we sort of expected more regularly out of his game. But sometimes it was just tough for him to get going. That was a really talented squad, and he still put up. 12 points a game, 6 boards, and a block and a half. Like that's nothing to. Just,
it's not terrible for 23 minutes or whatever.
No, yeah, exactly. But just that in terms of, I guess, from our perspective, from a DFS perspective, it was tough to trust him on the night in and night out basis. But from a perspective of helping out his team, he was that guy, and Alabama's really going to benefit from having him back in the fold, Mike.
Yeah, he's an incredible athlete. Another guy that I'm surprised is there's probably some good NIL money coming his way as well. But we remember him going crazy in that Elite 8 game to send the Crimson Tide to the Final Four. So that's the kind of upside he has. I mean, his numbers are obviously like down across the board coming over from North Dakota State, but North Dakota. But as a transition point here from the Summit League to the SEC, right? I still thought he fared very well. In that North Carolina game, he looked like the best player on the court with a ton of guys that were legends in the college game and some guys that are going to play pro. But a lot of stuff kept happening to him during the year, right? Like foul trouble. It was like, oh my, Grant Nelson's in foul trouble again. He couldn't hit his outside shot, less than 30% from three again. And then you have that large Nate Oates rotation. It's like spin the wheel on who's going to play 20 minutes this game. Playing 10, 11 guys a lot through the year until the rotation's kind of condensed towards the latter stages of the tournament. But obviously huge news to get somebody like this. We were just talking about Hunter Dickinson not too long ago on the last show, and then obviously RJ Davis is coming back. So there's some heavy hitters coming back. We like to talk about portal, but man, getting these guys back is a pretty good thing too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Super talented. We'll see what happens. I don't know if that rotation gets any clearer.
Yeah,
this
not with
year.
natives there.
Yeah, it's just not. Nelson's not going to play 30 minutes, and we just need to accept that. It's okay. But from a perspective of helping this team out, and Snake's Eyes says, "Roll Tide." Thanks for hopping in, Snake's Eyes. Always good to see you there in the chat. Make sure you do the same thing. Hop in the live chat. Let us know you're hanging out with us. Let us know what you think about Grant Nelson sticking around Alabama. What do you think about Johnell Davis committing to Coach Cal and Arkansas? Let us know in the live chat what you think about that. You know who is making a little bit of noise these days? Someone that is still like basically a couple of years away from being able to vote. He is 16 years old, Mike, and this is Jayden Quaintance, of course, excuse me, 5-star high school center picking Arizona State. Now, why would a 16-year-old, why does this matter? 16-year-olds commit all the time, and then they go onto campus 2 years later and play. No. He's reclassified, ladies and gents. This guy is going to go and play for Arizona State immediately. He initially signed with Kentucky, Mike, right? And then you need to imagine that a 16-year-old changing his mind. There was talks Louisville, right? Arkansas was even whisper right there. Coach Cal, hey, Quaintance, hey. You heard him. You heard the whispers. But out of nowhere, he picked our guy Nate C. Hustle's Sun Devils. And this was really one of the bigger shocks that we've had of note recently, Mike. So what do you make of this choice here by Quaintance heading out west to Arizona State?
I mean, it's great for Bobby Hurley. We just talked about them landing BJ Freeman, who is an absolute bucket from the wing out of Milwaukee. So he's going to bring them a lot of scoring. And you get this kid in, like, you're guaranteed 2 years because he can't go to the league because of his age. So kind of wild. You're going to have I don't know, transfer portal, but
I was going to say you don't know you got him for 2 years. That man's going to be at Arkansas next year. You watch.
Yeah.
He's going to play for Cal next year, and then he'll go pro. It's a natural progression.
So you can't say for sure he's going to be there for 2 years. He's at least be there for a year. I mean, he's everything you really look for, and then like today's bigs in a weird way. Like he kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Grant Nelson type skill set. So. I mean, this kid's just oozing with upside, right? I don't know if he's going to be able to, I mean, he's got the size, obviously. He's a big kid. So I don't know that that's going to be the biggest adjustment, maybe mentally and just, being in Tempe at that age with, probably a pretty good amount of money might be the thing that maybe holds him back a little bit, but just super talented player.
I can't even begin to even fathom. That's a whole other show. That's like a therapy that's like a couch session right there. If we're being honest, we're not going to get into that. But best of luck to Jayden Quaintance going out to Tempe and Coach Bobby Hurley and those Sun Devils. This is one of my favorite stories that we've covered in a long time. And only it's because, and as you say, it's only because it's somebody that we have had great interactions with already. Friend of the show, Kim English, hanging out on Twitter, flexing that Twitter game, as he tweeted earlier today. He was quote tweeting another tweet. I saw this. He was quote tweeting, and it's basically what he said was, to all the tampering head coaches and assistant coaches and flunkies, just call me and let me know if you want to recruit our players. Leave them and their families alone. Call me. I'll see if they want to play for your programs. You have my number. This is a guy, Mike, that while we were interviewing him, in the middle of our recorded interview, he got a text message saying that someone was entering the transfer portal, was leaving his team and transferring last year. He feels some kind of way about the transfer portal. And now, so, okay, let's clear the air here, Mike. Like, who do you feel like this is directly regarding? Is it an overall thing? Is there a specific player that you feel like Coach English is really going on about here? Or is this just him, basically just putting it all out there and saying, like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, your first initial thought and kind of what you're seeing online is Bryce Hopkins. People offering him some money to, obviously his best player. But, man, once these things come out like this, then Twitter just runs rampant with rumors. I don't want to specify, but they're saying, like, there's some Big East teams, and they're calling them out. And it's like, we don't know if this is true or not. Obviously, this has been going on. I mean, it's been going on forever. Now with the transfer portal, right? Like, you can, like, what were they talking about? Nick Saban was that the NFL draft saying they were waiting for the Toledo cornerback to get into the portal, but he would never get into the portal. Like, this has been going on forever. So, I would expect Kim English doesn't do the same thing to others by making this type of comment.
Right.
We appreciate him giving an interview. I just think, can the NCAA just do something like? I know they've got the NIL deal, stepping up here. They got the, I forget what exactly the name of it is, but it's coming in here. So where they can kind of at least wrap their arms around this madness that is going on for NIL deals. So yeah, this story is just funny. I think it's hilarious that a coach would actually go out there and put this out there on Twitter, like, or X or whatever you want to call it, because it's just it's a feeding frenzy, an absolute feeding frenzy for people.
Well, and again, you got to think, like, we can go back and watch that interview that he gave us last offseason. He wasn't thrilled about the portal then, like, but he was basically like, it is what it is. We're going to get through it. This is what we're going to have to deal with, and it's happening right now, and yeah, man, like, feel like there's some coaches that are really in that. There is not a lot of gray area. I mean, there is not a lot of black and white, I should say, with these rules right now. And there's so much gray area, and these coaches are just like all the way on the end. And now that everything can even be above the table now, like, it's almost like there's one less thing for them to have to worry about. The money's right. Okay. Now it's just like, okay, we can't get caught reaching out to these kids ahead of time. And it's happening. And I think Coach English tweeting this out is just going to make it a part of the larger conversation.
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
least until another person leaves and then gets paid $1.2 to $1.4 million somewhere, and then we forget about coaches' comments and we just go back to it, because unfortunately that's the way that this stuff works. So good luck to Coach over there. Yeah, hopefully the NIL can get shored up a little bit over there for him. It's going to be that's a tough spot without a lot of money. So hopefully they can figure that out. And let's move on now to our last headline, which is thankfully, our final COVID year of eligibility.
I feel like you've been saying this for years.
Well, we have been. And of course, the regulation on that was just another thing, the NCAA is just an absolute joke. Anyways, I was talking about this the other day, how I was just so ready for this to be done. Like, for us to not have to talk or think or, okay, oh, he says that one extra year. No, he's been around for 27 years. Like, stop it.
It's over.
It's over. But we saw something over on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it today, from Kevin Sweeney. Little math that is math in here. 429 of the 1,838 players in the portal. Think about that number by itself anyway. 1,838 players in the
A
portal.
lot.
But 429 of those, which is 23.3%, are using their COVID year. So what does that tell you? We're losing people that are using their last COVID year, and then next year we're going to lose those graduating seniors. We're basically losing 2 graduating classes here after this cycle. And the interesting thing to follow, and again, the top of the top, Mike, they're not going to have to struggle because they're already basically starting from scratch anyway. But some of these teams that are in the middle of their conferences and some of these mid-majors,
man,
mid-majors especially, right? What coaches are going to adapt? Who is going to figure this out, man? Like it's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, naturally the player pool has to shrink. Like this is kind of a weird bottleneck situation where you're going to dump out a ton of 4th and 5th year players. There is not going to be an option to come back. When you have guys that are coming back, they're typically at the top of your transfer board because they've had so much experience. They're 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 years old. They're grown men. We're going to go back to what it was pre-COVID when best you could do was maybe get, play 10 games and then get injured and maybe get an additional year. We're not going to see 5 full years anymore, which I'm excited for. But yeah, it's going to be which coaches can really adapt because that's we're losing a lot. I mean, it doesn't even account for like guys, going to the draft, like all kinds of stuff, man. Like it's going to be absolutely insane. I think it's going to be a lot easier, clearly, to cover next offseason because we're going to see, I think, a decrease. I feel like we're going to see a decrease in portal entrants, probably back down to closer to like 1,500. I would hope because, I mean, every year, 2,000 to 2,500 players, what do we like? It can't keep going up at a certain point. Unless everyone goes in every year and you just fantasy draft it, basically.
I mean, isn't that kind of what we're doing now, though? Like, what
for
are we doing?
half the freaking
what are we doing? Arkansas
in there.
What are we doing in Arkansas? Anybody? Are they returning any scoring from last year?
Zero.
Not one
player.
Point. Not one. Not a player. Not a ball boy. Not the girl that gives them the towels. Nobody's coming back. 100% new. Love it though. This is what we do. This is college basketball now. Getting used to it. We're loving it, and we're loving that you're here watching it and talking about it with us. Make sure you hop in that live chat. Make sure you hop in the comment section if you're not watching live. Let us know what you're thinking about what's going on. Let us know what you think about COVID years being done. Kim English's tweet. We love Coach English, and I feel him. I feel his pain there. Out of frustration there. Let us know what you think about it. Hop in the live chat like Snake Eyes just did again. That Hoosier trader William McNeely is dead to me. Oh, well, hey, we'll get there. But I understand. Boo, UConn. Yeah, really going out on the limb. Please be back. Yes.
I think all 361 other teams are booing UConn right now.
And can you blame them? Nobody's doing it better, but totally understand the frustration there, the vitriol for UConn. Let's keep it going. If it's hate, if it's whatever, if it's love, get it in the live chat. Let's see it flow right now. And if you're ready to boo again, do I have some news for you as we jump right into, hit that subscribe button too while you're at it. As we hop right into our recent portal commits. And by the way, guess where the top rated commit tonight on our board, aside from obviously we hit Johnell Davis earlier. But before then, guess where he's going? Of course. It's BooCon. That's what we're going to call it now. BooCon. It's Aidan Mahaney. Mike, what do we think about it?
I mean, yeah, it's a good spot. It's a good offense. He's a great player. weird seeing a player go from St. Mary's to UConn. That just tells you the times that we're in. But we have Aidan Mahaney ranked number 20 on our big board. He's 6'3", 180. Played 33 minutes last year, only 14 points, which I thought he would be closer to like an 18 point per game score. But, really was kind of passive last year, just under 3 boards, 3 assists, shot 35% from 3. So still draining it from range at a pretty good clip. But 2 years ago, you were like, oh, man, the ceiling, you really love it. Kind of up and down. I mean, don't watch some of the games, just not doing much in the first half. And then, he would drop 14, 15 in the second half. And you're like, where was that in the first half? So I think he just deferred a lot. I'm not sure if he was kind of in love with, you look at what UConn runs, and it's everyone wants to play in that. I want to play in that system.
Yes,
it's
please.
just, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a deadly scorer. He's got handles. I mean, he's going to that well-oiled machine, kind of falling into that Cam Spencer role. Now, he's not as aggressive offensively or as good defensively as Cam Spencer, but he's no slouch for sure. I mean, he had a 21% usage rate and only a 12% turnover rate. So I love that. Obviously, getting into the system's just going to, expose all the great parts of his games. And Hurley does a great job of hiding weaknesses in guys' games. We've seen that for the last couple of years. So Aidan Mahaney headed over to UConn. 5 spots down was the little tease from earlier. The UConn commit, the Arkansas commit, Jonas Aidoo coming over from Tennessee. What do you think about that move right there for Coach Cal?
Well, again, if Coach Cal's recruiting you, there's a reason for that. And if you hadn't been paying attention to Aidoo out there in Tennessee, you've been missing out. 11.5 points, 7.5 boards, almost 2 blocks per, and that's in under 25 minutes per game. So you love the old rates there per minute. I mean, this is Coach Cal doing Coach Cal things. One of the best defensive bigs in the country, 9% shot blocking rate, 20% defensive rebounding rate, and the 94 defensive rating. That is good. G-O-O-D, good. But again, we knew that he was a defender. But what you love about it right now, what you really can sink your teeth into if you're Coach Cal, is how the offensive game has expanded so much. He's not a stretch big. We get that. But he's not just the guy that's dinking and danking from 4 feet anymore, This is going to be, play a couple of bigs here together. I think we'll see it. What do you think, Mike? You think we'll see the 2 bigs on the floor there for Arkansas?
I think so. We're gonna have some bigs out there for teams this year. It's gonna be interesting how a lot of teams are gonna work both of the guys that they got. We'll talk about another one here in just a minute. But what do you think about a Visage, man? That guy can shoot the ball. So you feel like these two can play together.
Well, yeah. So the inside-out game is what's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to happen. We'll just have to see. Man, this is going to be. Think about it. What, 6 guys now, right? 6 guys. We don't even know what the rest of this roster is going to look like. What this rotation is going to look. You can't predict it. You can't say, "Oh, I know this." No, you don't know. There's 6 guys on the roster. Okay, you don't know. But what I do know is that those 2 bigs should be on the floor at the same time quite often. And they will be. They complement each other really, really well. We'll see how why are they gonna they're gonna be so good. This is gonna be so good. That's obviously with Texas, down here in our neck of the woods going into the SEC next year. Big time stuff.
You get to see it firsthand a lot.
Going to get to see it firsthand over at the Mood. For sure. Who do you got next? Oh, another. Oh, yeah, of course. You take the guy that's actually 7 feet tall, so I can't get in my gimmick. But go ahead. What about?
Well, he's 7'1", and you can't teach that. 240 pounds. That's number 30 on our big board. Vladislav Goldin commits to Michigan. 34 games last year for FAU. 25 minutes a game. Nearly 16 points. Nearly 7 rebounds. Over a block and a half per game. And finally, Coach May gets one of his own. Goldin obviously anchored that Final Four run defensively. has been kind of their main cog in the middle of the last couple of years. Last year, defensively, though, like defensive rating kind of took a step back here, but his offensive role really expanded. I mean, he's 70th in the country in offensive rating, 12th in effective field goal percentage. So, I mean, he does all his damage in the paint and pick and roll. Very good around the basket. I think if May can get him back closer to his like career metrics defensively, Wolverine fans are definitely going to be in business. Also interesting, like we were talking about this over text, like him and Danny Wolf, I feel like kind of the same conversation with the Visage and Aidoo over at Arkansas. I think they can play together. Wolf will obviously have to slide down to a 4. He is a guy that can shoot the ball, can put it on the floor a little bit. But, you know, playing 2 bigs, he's kind of sacrificed tempo, right? So we'll see how Cal and you know, some of these other teams, you know, how Dusty May here, he kind of runs this rotation. It feels like, you know, these guys will probably start together, and then maybe at the 60-minute mark, one will come out. The other will play, you know, 6 more minutes or whatever, and then they'll bring the other one back in. But obviously you want talented players across the board. So I think it's a very, very good problem to have for sure. I'm just excited to see it, man. Wolf and Goldin, and then Aidoo and a Visage, like, yeah, well, it's good times, man.
It is. It's still the land of the bigs. That's what we heard for such a long time, right? That college basketball is now the land of the bigs. But we're seeing it now, and we're seeing it in high quality on the same teams. Goldin to Michigan is a big get there for May. Obviously, it helps. He's knows the guy. That kind of helps.
That works.
You still got to get the ink onto the paper there, and Goldin is a good get for Michigan for sure. Heading on down now to Brandon Garrison, who is committed to Kentucky. Rip Watts is saying IU has a better roster than Kentucky. Wait a minute, Rip. Wait a minute, sir or madam.
Here we go.
Either way, I love it. Keep it going. Let us know what you think about Kentucky. Brandon Garrison obviously likes Kentucky a little bit, and what Coach Pope was selling to him, leaving the Oklahoma State Cowboys, should have been a cowboy, heading out to Kentucky, 6'11", 245, big man there. In 32 games for Oklahoma State, 7.5 points, 5.3 boards, block and a half in 22.5 minutes. And this is sort of one that early on, as we were tracking this, when it felt more like it was going to be Texas or Oklahoma, going to stay a lot closer to Stillwater, not having to travel too far from Oklahoma State. But in the end, sight unseen, as they say, committed to Kentucky without even taking a visit to the campus. Former 5-star McDonald's All-American last summer, making that move out there to Kentucky. Big get for Coach Pope. Block and a half, like I said, so he's flashed that defensive upside for sure. What you hope comes around is the offensive game. So, I mean, Coach Pope is betting on that, I would imagine. Yep. But, man, are they absolutely stacked on defense or what? Like, they're already –
Lamont Butler, Amari Williams, three-time CAA Defensive Player of the Year. Lamont Butler, former Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year.
He's Coach Pope.
Going to play some D.
Coach, they're going to win right away. You know this.
Yeah.
They're going to win right away. Their service is the Wendy's. Well, hey, it's okay. We got to let the commenters be the commenters. Eric, okay, sir? I mean, this is, this kind of, Kentucky. I get it. It's funny. It's good. I like it, Rip. Keep it going, man. Or sir or madam, whoever, We got the broskies and the broskets hanging out tonight, watching One and Done. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. What are we sitting at? Like 977, 978. What are we at?
Creeping,
977
crawling,
right there. Let's get up to like 980 here right now. Let's do it. Let's get up to 980 here real quick. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. Show us some love. And Snake's Eyes is asking if Garrison realizes that Kentucky is actually
I don't know if he knows Kentucky. Where it is because he never went.
He never went, man. So he never went. So they're just gonna. Where do I go? Go to that gate at the airport. They're gonna fly you out to where you're supposed to go, and you'll land there. You'll do it. Hog Dog asking, where's the short guy league? Got to be over 7 feet. No, sorry, Spud Webb. No, I played. Listen, back in my glory days, in a young girl's eyes, glory days, I was playing. We were, top 10 ranked team in the state, of course, at 2A in the state of Texas. But that's okay. Realized that we didn't have anybody over 6'2" on the entire team. We were still that damn good. I played on the short guy team. Hog Dog, if you want to come play with us, come on. You can play for sure. But yeah, Garrison to Ketucky. What do we also? Oh, we got to drop down the board a little bit here. We went from some top 50 players a little bit farther down into the top 300, but still. And again, these are what? Look, this is SEC night or what?
SEC night, man.
All right, let's do it. Let's stay in the
Zhuric
SEC.
Phelps.
Yeah, with Phelps.
116 SMU transfer going to the Aggies. Played 33 games last year, 15 points, 4 boards, almost 3 assists. Just about 2 steals per game. We just profiled him not too long ago. He's an intriguing two-way player. Like, he didn't shoot well from 3, but he has range. Like, when you watch him play, like, he'll pull it from deep. Obviously, defensively, he's a really good player. My thing about this is Tyrese Radford's headed out the door. Phelps should slot right into his spot. You're bringing back Wade Taylor and Novasicki. But the problem with A&M last year is they were 342nd in the country in three-point shooting. 29% as a team. That's not very good. Taylor's back, 32%, obviously an all-conference caliber player, but not a great outside shooter. And then you're basically exchanging Radford, who shot 28% from 3, for Phelps, who shot 22% from 3. I mean, it kind of feels like the exact same situation. Now, Obaseki did shoot it well last year. CJ Wilcher's coming in from Nebraska. But, man, you just feel like Phelps and Taylor are going to play 30-plus minutes, and they got to shoot the ball better in order for this thing to work. Otherwise, you're kind of staring at exactly what you were staring at last year. So, I love it as, the individual player. Just the fit seems a little dicey, but you would rather have to try to figure it out than not be able to, or at least have the chance to figure it out. So, don't mind Phelps moving over here to Texas A&M for sure.
SEC getting some love from the portal this evening. Loving it, though. Loving it. Loving seeing how the SEC again. Like Texas, like we were saying earlier. Mike, if you don't know, Mike and I and Eric and Nape C. Hustle, we are all up on the I-35 corridor between like Austin and San Antonio in that area. So Mike's actually got the hat on tonight. They got the burnt orange on there. So Texas going to the SEC, getting to see a lot of these talented players come through town will be fantastic. And, when we were talking about beef earlier in the cold open, Mike and I have a little bit of beef because of our differences in our opinion on Rodney Terry being the guy for the University of Texas. And that's okay. Mike and I can disagree. It's okay. Rodney Terry's not the guy, even though I don't have my Rodney Terry edition cup today, Mike. I have my all gas, no brakes cup today. I don't have my Rodney Terry, as you called it, the Rodney Terry Yeti. It's not though.
We got Boogie. Boogie Flan. That's right. Yeah, Boogie's a good player. Now they need Wooga. Oh, if they got Boogie and Wooga, they have Boogie. If you get Wooga,
Boogie Wooga.
That might be an all-name like team of all time, maybe.
Yeah.
Wooga Pop Parkham, but it looks like he might be going to visit Kentucky. So we'll see.
Coach Bo getting another one, Mike. Is he getting another one?
Another one.
Another one. And we hopefully will be getting another subscriber in you tonight if this is your first time or a long time and you just haven't hit that button. Make sure you do that for us. Hit those like and subscribe buttons for your broskies in basketball. Make sure you follow us on X as well, at Dr. William Cannon, at MC Holland 34, at The Real Napier is our guy Nape C. Hustle, at Fantasy Nav is our guy Eric the Blue, who's been hopping in the live chat, stuffing fire emojis and doing his thing, hopping in there, hanging out with Hog Dog and Snake's Eyes and Rip Watts and Nape's in there. Forklift Jeremy shouted us out earlier. I was good to see everybody in the live chat. So we had some commits. there in the portal. How about some under the radar commitments? Maybe some guys
I
might
love this
get,
segment. Love
yeah,
it.
no, you do. This is your bread and butter here. The under the radar, the guys not a lot of people are talking about, but we're gonna hit on 5 of them tonight that maybe a little bit off of the radar. Not the biggest names popping off, but guys that are going to be difference makers for their teams. Let's start with number 120 in the top 300 transfer portal big board over at drroto.com. That is DJ Davis.
Yeah, DJ Davis, man. We got familiar with the name, playing DFS a lot, but the guard from Butler is now headed to Washington. Played 33 games for those Bulldogs, 13.5 points. Really just a shooter, a scorer, 35% from 3. It feels like this commitment happened forever ago.
Yeah.
Kind of didn't really mention it, right? But he's a really good player. Obviously, Washington going through some turnover here in coaching. Coach Sprinkle is now there. The thing I think was most impressive with DJ Davis, like he comes over from UC Irvine last year to Butler, and he showed he could score it in the Power Six, the Big Six, whatever you want to call it. 13.5 points, that's nothing to sneeze at, especially 35% from 3. I think he's an even better shooter than that. I mean, defensively, like he's got to improve, but headed out to I guess I don't even know, out west and the northwest part of the United States here. And man, like he's you want to say Pac-12, but geez, like all every single, the only Pac-12 teams remaining are Washington State and Oregon State. So you're like, where the hell is everyone going here? But when he's on,
show,
man,
my guy.
yeah, it's a whole other show. You got to break down.
On yeah,
I clicked on Yahoo the other day, and they already updated. Looking at some NFL draft stuff, they already updated the teams in the conferences, and it's pretty funny to see it. You're like, what? Like, there's like 1,000 teams in the Big Ten now, so it's funny to see that. But no, I want to steal the shot on here off of DJ Davis, but. Look, like he can rattle off a quick blur here. Like he can put you on a 9-0 run real fast. I mean, he's going to be in line for a pretty big role. Rice transfer, Makai Mason, he's coming in. So, the talent pool, these two guys probably going to be, unless they're able to pick up some big names. But those big names in the portal are starting to wind it down for sure. So I got DJ Davis here heading out to Washington as a player to watch and someone that could be a difference maker for them. For sure.
Definitely. And you're talking about taking the shine off of him. I don't think DJ Davis would mind you waxing poetic like you did. But like you said, he's the guy. He's the microwave guy. He's your Vinny Johnson. Yeah. He's your guy that can just get up and whether, he's playing 30 minutes a game, but he doesn't have to come off the bench to be your microwave guy. He can just light it up in a hurry.
It sounds weird saying he's going out west to play in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Like how?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, this is the new. This is where we are. Like this is the sort of thing that we.
He's going out east to play SMU.
Man, I can't even. Yeah, exactly. Like I can't even. It's gonna be after playing like NCAA football.
Right?
Are we getting that back? Like,
yeah,
coming,
I think
right?
we are.
Like, that's legit. That's a
not
thing.
Not Manning, but. Everyone else.
Well, that's okay. Everyone else will be in there. We know who it is. We know it's you, Arch. I knew it was you all along. Well, yeah, no, we're getting that stuff. Hey, DJ Davis can heat it up, and Johnell Davis can. Our guy BR hopping in the comments, talking about the Hogs getting Johnell. Yeah, he's definitely a big get for sure. A little bit lower on the radar, but should still be on your radar is Marcus Hill, formerly of Bowling Green. He's not committed to North Carolina State. 6'4", 185-pound guard, played 34 games for Bowling Green last year. And talk about heaters. Talk about heating it up. 20.5 points per and 5 boards a game as well in 36 minutes. Shout out to Coach Keats. Right? Just getting weapons for the backcourt like Smith, Joyner, Horn. Like, we know what he does over there. And Hill's a guy that, again, is going to come in. He might not score 20. But, 17 is not out of the question for Marcus Hill, for sure. I mean, that had to go JUCO his first 2 years. average, like basically that's where he's been. He's in just over 20 points in his first 2 years. This is what he did. He's a bucket. He's a bucket. He got a shot at Bowling Green, and then got first team All MAC honors. Not gonna shoot it a bunch from the outside. Okay, like don't expect him to be above the Heinrich line at 35%. That might not be his game, and he's not gonna dish the ball a ton. That's not why you're getting Hill onto your team, though. Like, if you're expecting him to come in and get you 4 dimes per, you're a fool. I don't think that's what Coach Keats is depending on for sure. But again, the guy, it's a good story. You know, he had to go prove himself in JUCO for a couple of years, and he had to figure it all out so he could get to a school like North Carolina State. And big time stuff for him. But maybe more of a wild card. But I feel like somebody that can come in and he's just a bucket. You don't find guys that can just flat out score the basketball like this very often. Might be all he does, but he's a bucket, Mike. He's gonna get it.
Yeah, man. Maybe not the most efficient guy in the world, but man, you love these guys that are like just have to just scratch and claw for everything. That's exactly what it is. Number 178 following him, we have Lassina Traore. We got to watch him playing that first round matchup against Arizona. He's the center from Long Beach, 6'10", 230. Coming over to Xavier, and we know Xavier's front court woes, right? For Traore, averaged 30 minutes, 12 points, 10 boards, so a double-double there for you. A pretty solid defensive player. This is reinforcements for Sean Miller and his Xavier front court. Like, what a mess last year. You lost Fremantle and Hunter for the year before the season ever started. They had a bunch of inconsistency at the 4 and the 5. We talked about that all last year. Like, Traore's a guy that's going to come in. He's going to give you a solid presence on both ends at that 5 position. We know Fremantle's coming back. Hunter, we know, had the injury in February again, so I don't know if he's – we'll see what happens with him. But with all the weapons Xavier has in this backcourt, like, they have to be pretty happy to get a player like Traore. He's going to be a lot better than what they were running out there, and you get Fremantle back. And if Fremantle is only 50% of the player that he was, but you're probably going to be a lot better, more than that. Hopefully he's closer to 100%. But, Traore, man, we got to see him firsthand. He was a really good player. Limited action. We got to see on the beach were a lot of fun. So I'm excited to see that pairing there for Xavier.
No doubt about it, and it's good to see the comment, the live chat still on fire with our guy Greg hopping in there and saying, it's crazy that Coach Cal went from one school to another and both hooked up with their cousins. I cannot confirm nor deny that. We're not. I mean, that's pretty funny. And yes, of course, yeah. Back to Eric's earlier comment, sir. This is a Wendy's. Well, it's not a Wendy's, but
what a name, Greg Guard Power.
I can't see the whole thing on my
Greg Guard Power Bottoms.
Greg Guard Power Bottoms.
We got some of the best commenters, man. We love the comments. Keep them coming.
Keep them coming. Love seeing it. And chances are, if your name is on that shows up on your username is something that is funny, and I probably won't get it, and then it'll hit me 30 seconds later or a minute later or which I forget which one it was where I was. But it was fantastic, and I loved it, and I hope we see more of them. Oh, that was our guy Mo.
Last name Lester, first name Mo.
First name Mo. Junior. Don't forget the junior part. For sure, we can't leave that out. All right, let's move on. Aaron Scott. Let's show some love to Aaron Scott, formerly of the North Texas. It's the Mean Green, right? Are they still the Mean Green? Do they do the Mean Green
Fighting Machines?
Mean Green Fighting Machines. Well, no longer is Aaron Scott one of those. He is now a Johnny committed to St. John's. What have we? Does it feel like they've been kind of quiet?
A little quiet.
Like,
yeah.
I guess they just haven't made a ton of noise here. But what Scott brings to the table, 11 points per, 5.5 boards, shot 38% from 3 in 30 minutes for North Texas. Okay, so they have a lot going on with guys like Dingle and Ledlam trying to get a waiver for the – remember that when the Ivy League just
like,
didn't play? Like, we ain't
that
doing it.
Nah.
We're not playing. Not doing it. So
everyone else gets an extra year.
Yeah, not you. No, nothing for you. Like, tell me how that even remotely makes sense. But either way, Dingle and Ledlam will hopefully for St. John's sake, get the waiver for that last year that the Ivy League didn't play. But what you love about Scott's game is sort of like that 3 and D cat. Okay, he can guard 1 through 4. He's not going to guard your biggest bigs. He's not going to guard your Traore or your who was somebody earlier that was like Garrison, right, over in Ketucky. He's not guarding those guys. He's not guarding those, but he can guard any other position for sure, 1 through 4. And then you look at those totals, and it's like, yeah, okay, 11 points, but he wasn't even really a big usage guy.
Yeah.
Last year. So when you give the looks, he made the most of it, and he's going to have to do the same on this team, especially if Dingle and Ledlum get those waivers to come back. He's going to have to make the most of his role to if he wants to see those counting stats a little bit. A role player, Mike, but is probably going to be an important part of that rotation for the Johnnies. One more here, Mike.
That's number 274, Tucker Anderson, a wing from Central Arkansas. We just talked about Central Arkansas and Cameron Hunter going to Wisconsin. He was out for the year. But now we shine a little light on Tucker Anderson. Got to watch him a couple of times this year, man. He commits to Utah State, and I don't know what's in the water at Utah State. They just attract talent. 2 fine years, and they had 2 different coaches the last couple, and now they're going to have a new coach again. So able to go out here and retain a lot of last year's roster. You go out and get a Tucker Anderson, a freshman, 6'9", 38% from 3 on volume. So you love taking long wings that can really shoot it. That's a recipe for absolutely building up a Mountain West conference that we thought was underseeded, deserved a lot more respect. Utah State's going to be right in the thick of things again. I use the A-Sun freshman of the year. I mean, obviously we love his upside. He's got 3 years of eligibility left. So looking here at Tucker Anderson as somebody that, middle of the season, we're going to be like, oh, remember that guy? Like, he wasn't in our top 100, but he is absolutely making things happen out there in the Mountain West.
Well, somebody thinks Aaron Scott is in at least the 100s, and that's our guy Johnny K has a little issue with 212 for Aaron Scott for Aaron. Love it, Johnny. Love that. Yeah. Hey, obviously, again, if you're looking at for the total pack for the defense, that's what Scott's bringing to me. This is what this is about. This is a defensive player that's going to get in that rotation and just played like the dirty minutes that nobody else wants to play. That's what Aaron Scott's going to do. So, Johnny, I appreciate the love that you have for Aaron, as you so eloquently put it. And that could be somebody too, along with Tucker Anderson, that we look back on him. Maybe they should have been a little bit higher in the end. But we'll see. Again, it's their roles. It's so hard to define a role right now for anybody at all, period. Again, like with roster teams that have half a dozen players on their roster. But I could definitely see a guy like Scott. We can look back on it when we do our review back and say, yeah, you could have been.
It depends, right? Dingle and Ludlam, we'll see. It doesn't probably not going to happen. But then, they're in on Kadari Richmond and Norchad O'Meara. So, I mean, if those 2 guys come on, you have Simeon Wilcher coming back for his sophomore year. Aaron Scott's probably going to be an interesting role player if they don't get Dingle or Ludlam back for sure. This next comment is kind of interesting.
So Scott, real quick on Scott. Scott was he's just going to be the guy, again, even if they get all those guys, he's going to be from a perspective of not – okay, let's not think of numbers from a DFS and counting stats, right? But Scott could be one of those guys that is more valuable just from
doesn't show up on the
basketball perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, which obviously in a ranking like this, maybe he wouldn't lend to being a top 100 guy or a top 150 guy like maybe that Johnny's asking for. But Scott, in terms of overall importance to the team, even if they get all those guys, Mike, like you were saying, Scott is a guy that we could get behind for sure. Excellent stuff there. And hey, guess what, Mike? up to 979 now. Shout out to those breadheads out there hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Up to 979 now over on YouTube. Make sure you tell the broskies and broskets and breadheads.
That hits it right on the head.
Your love. Yeah. You can hit the threes. Yeah, I tell you, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, for sure. You can hit those threes. But again, if all those guys are there, what do you think that usage is not going to go to sky?
No.
But what you can't, but the defense that he will play and the role that he will play will definitely be huge for them no matter what.
So looking at a couple of things real quick, Jay, the wings that are ahead of him, Micah Parrish going to Ohio State. We got Raheem Moss just committed to Oregon. We got BJ Omot going to Cal. I can see an argument for that. Chibuzo Agbo is going to USC. You got Owe going to Kentucky. Terrence Williams, USC. Dontrez Styles, North Carolina State. It's tough. Could he be ahead of a couple of those guys? For sure. Yeah, he's a 6'7" man for sure. Or the guy that starts that just, like you said, Jay, just plays tough defense, knocks down the open three, Trevor Ariza. Those type of guys are so important, and they just Danny Greens, those guys that just 3 and D you are so important, especially at the college level, man.
Is he going to play 30 minutes a night?
No.
Probably not. But could he play 22 to 24, depending on the matchup and depending on what they're asking him to do on the defensive end? Absolutely. So, yeah, shout out to Johnny K there for keeping the live chat going and for giving his take there. We appreciate that for sure. 979. Let's get to 980 tonight if you haven't hit that button yet. Let's get to 980 on those subs. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Hit all those buttons for us. Follow us on Twitter at @OneAndDoneCBB. Is the show page over on X, Elon's hellhole, Twitter, whatever, cesspool. We're there. We're on it. So you might as well get over there and get on it too. At Get Green Screens as well for the Green Screens Media Twitter page. And then over on TikTok, we're trying to figure out some content in terms of some transfer stuff, but just go over there and like it, because even if we're not putting up a bunch of content now, we will be once DFS starts again. So at _CBB right now, we're working on the branding, guys. @OneAndDoneCBB. That's what you need to know. Make sure you shout us out. Get us on. Hit us up on TikTok, X, YouTube. Where else are we? Mike? Grinder? No, wait, that's not right. We're not there. We're not over there. We don't discriminate if you are, but that's not where we are. That's okay. Very good. All right, now. Last but not least, our final section of the night. New entrants into the portal, including 2 guys debuting in the top 10 in the big board of the portal. Let's start with number 5, Mike. One that when we saw the news, it was almost just like, why? Where did this come from?
Yeah, because it's kind of weird that he wants to go to the NBA. He's got NBA profile, right? And that's Coleman Hawkins, 6'10", 225. 12 points, 6 boards, over a steal, over a block, shot 37% from 3. You look at his game, he also almost averaged 3 assists per game. He's kind of what they're looking for. Maybe not starter level, but upside to be a pretty good player in the NBA. So, as far as his college profile, right? I think every team's gonna definitely want this guy. So I know there's a lot of stuff out there that he is really, really focused on going to the league. Clearly, this is a business decision too. Why not jump the portal if you don't grade out or don't feel like it's the best decision? Johnell Davis reportedly 1.2 to 1.4 million. Coleman Hawkins should get close to that type of money. And would you rather do that or go on a 2-way contract? And, I don't know. That's why this NIL stuff for college, it's making a lot of these guys come back for these additional years, especially these COVID years. Why not make this type of money, man? Somebody's going to drop a big bag on him if he decides not to pursue the NBA, but I still think at the end of the day he ends up in the NBA. So he's in our big board, obviously, for entering into the transfer portal.
Yep.
I'm going to go out and say that he's not going to end up in the transfer portal. He'll end up in the NBA, but we'll see. He's a top 5 caliber player in the portal right now for sure.
there's something to be said for the fact that he is actually having to consider this. Like,
Yeah,
with
for
the amount
sure.
of money that will be floated in front of him, like, from a business perspective, he has to consider staying in school, regardless of, wanting to go pro and getting to that second contract and all that stuff. Like, you've got to take it into consideration. And if you don't grade out like you want, like you said, Mike, if he goes, does the combine stuff and like XY's, he doesn't get the message that he wants, it's going to be really
I mean, $1
easy
million
to go
is
back.
life-changing money. Like,
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah, it's like,
No doubt about it. So we'll see
that
what
shit,
happens with Coleman Hawkins. Another top 10 guy on our transfer portal big board, JT Toppin, formerly of New Mexico, 6'9", 210-pound forward. Yeah, any top 10 in the portal. And I mean, that's obviously a massive, big time addition to the portal. And I would probably say top 3 freshman bigs in the nation last year. Like, just off the top, I would have to say that. They don't just give out conference rookie of the year awards to guys that can't play ball. And the Mountain West, in that conference, there's some good basketball being played. And out of all of them, he was the best. Farash, pro potential for sure, Mike, I believe. It's there. And you know what else is going to be there? Everybody on his doorstep wanting to talk to him about paying a visit to their campus. Or if you just want to, not visit like some other people do and never even see a campus and just get your bag. You do you, JT Toppin. But yeah, I mean, somebody's going to get a good one here, Mike. 12.5 points, 9 boards, 2 blocks per, add a swipe as well. Like, dude, somebody's getting a good one.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got Christy saying, my bros, I'm watching our Longhorn fans. Well, that's a team that's being mentioned for JT Toppin, which would, well, that'd put a pretty big ceiling for Texas there. So, yeah, we'll see. It's really early, but missing out on Brandon Garrison. Obviously, Texas needs another big, and Texas got some money. So we'll see what happens there. Number 92, Arthur Kaluma, a guy that was rated, I think it's out of our top 20 last year. Board from Kansas State, 33 games, 35 minutes, 14 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 34% from 3. Doesn't even feel like he had that good of a year. Like, you look at it, like 14 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 34% from 3. Like, that's, I mean, if his name wasn't Arthur Kaluma, you'd be like, man, that's a pretty solid year, right? But when you know his name is Arthur Kaluma, a little bit up and down, right? Like, it just wasn't a great situation, a great fit with Kansas State. Probably looking for a little bit of money here, and then obviously wants to see his pro stock rise again. So I think he's an awesome athlete, but obviously has a ton of experience. And someone's going to be getting a very, very good player. It's getting crazy, this amount of guys that are in the portal where this guy is like in the 90s now. Like, that's just what it is. Obviously, when you have 4,000 players in college basketball and then 2,000 of them in the portal, you're going to get guys that get bumped down for sure. So Arthur Kaluma sitting here at number 92 when our big board is re-released tomorrow on drroto.com.
Yeah, make sure you get over to drroto.com and check that out, and check out all the work being put up over there, all the fantasy football stuff, all the NFL stuff, all the NFL draft stuff that's coming out. Make sure you get to drroto.com and check it out. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons here on YouTube for your broskies. And if you're looking at our graphic there,
did we lose our boy Jay there? What he was saying is, if you're looking at our graphic there, there's a name that's pretty familiar to college basketball fans, and it's number 160 on our big board. It's Braeden Smith. No, it's not that Braeden Smith, but this kid is pretty damn good. He's the guard from Colgate, 6 foot 180. Played 35 games, 30 minutes per game, 12.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 2 steals per game. Patriot League Player of the Year. And he was only a sophomore, so wasn't very efficient shooting the basketball, but his playmaking skills are elite. His defensive rating, Jay, 91.6. That's pretty good. So while you don't get the outside shooting, you get the playmaking, you get the defense. Everyone's looking for something like that.
Yeah, I was getting so excited. I don't know what happened there. I feel like I went on a side quest for a minute. But, yeah, not the Braeden Smith that everybody thinks of immediately, but the other Braeden Smith. Good stuff there. Yeah, somebody's going to get a good one in that Braeden Smith. Braeden Smith, I mean,
both Braeden Smiths are pretty good.
Both Braeden Smiths are pretty. That's a good way to just put. Let's just leave it at that. And since Mike took my new favorite Braeden Smith, I'm going to take Nate Santos, the forward from Dayton, 6'7", 210 pounds, versatile front court guy, who really kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Behind those the two talented guys, Braeden and Holmes, obviously in the front court there for Dayton. But he does a little bit of everything, right? Spent his first couple of seasons at Pitt and Dayton. What he does bring is the energy, okay? And that's what you're going to get out of Santos there for sure. So we'll see. 192 on the top 300 over at drroto.com. Hawkins, Toppin, Kaluma, Smith, and Santos. Loving it there. Some recent portal entrants there. That's our show, ladies and gents. We are, we're going to be coming at you here a couple of times a week on One and Done. Make sure that you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Make sure you also turn on those notification bells so you don't miss a minute of our coverage as we are about to log off here. But Jerome Danielson dropping some knowledge in the live chat. Need to stop the portal transferring until the entire season is over, meaning the tournament too. Many players will not make a team when they enter the portal. It's musical chairs.
It happened last year. Not everyone's going to get – you got to think D2 guys and AI guys are coming in. Not everyone's going to get a Division I seat that they thought they were going to get. So
absolutely not. Jerome, good to see you there. I don't know if we've seen you around. Might be a new commenter there.
Just seems weird to have an off-season start while teams are playing for a national championship.
It's ridiculous. But again, let's wait on the NCAA to regulate that like they regulate everything else. I'm not holding my breath. But it is good to see Jerome, Chris D, Johnny K, Greg. What was that again? Greg Guard, Power. Okay, all right. DR, Dog, Snake's Eyes. I got Eric the Blue in there. Let's say Rip Watts. Let's get Rip in there. I got Nape C Hustle, Forklift Jeremy chiming in early as well. And before we are even logging off, ladies and gents, broskies and broskets, we have hit 980. Thank you for getting us there while we were live tonight, right here on One and I'm trying to hit this reset. What do we got here? We're going to get it. I'm trying to refresh this here. I think we got, what do we get? We got to 980, right?
Yeah, 980, man.
There it is. 980. Shout out there to everybody that hit those buttons. Shout out to you for watching us live tonight. Make sure you follow at MCHolland34 on Twitter. The OG Money Mike, that is El Capitan himself, the captain of the Green Screens Media ship. My name is Jay Heinrich. I'm the conductor of the aforementioned Green Screens Media train. I do the train. He does the ship. I got Eric the Blue pushing the buttons tonight. What does he do, though? He does the hot dog stand.
Or the bread truck. Depends on how he's feeling.
Bread truck. It kind of depends on what he's feeling. But shout out to I got Eric the Blue doing the graphics, pushing the buttons, doing his thing. I got Napesy Hustle, who was in the host chair last time around. I'm in there tonight again. We'll be back. We will never be too far away. Make sure you hit those buttons so you know when we're going live. Make sure you tell somebody that you love them. Make sure you take care of yourself and each other. But let's go out there, have some fun, and get this bread, baby.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.